the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
People are absolutely entitled to have their opinion about the things that are happening in their community.
She's the CEO of one of the most controversial organizations in the area, Lutheran Social Services. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. Earlier this week, we told you about a survey that Valley News Live commissioned to gauge your opinions related to refugee resettlement.
Then we began breaking down the opinions, exploring how resettlement here impacts our schools, our wallets, our crime, and what refugees themselves think about this.
Valley News Team's immigration and relocation reporter Bradford Eric sits down with LSS's CEO Jessica Thomason, laying out our survey findings and asking her your questions.
Using the survey Valley News Live commissioned as the starting point, remember 57% of you surveyed said you do not support the continued resettlement of refugees.
You know, we recognize that not everything that we do is easy to understand or is popular work, but we make sure that everything we do is focused on helping us deliver on our mission.
I then asked what about those people who say we should help our own here before helping those overseas. She said LSS agrees there are needs here at home too.
Refugee resettlement is a part of what we do, but it is certainly not all of what we do. And we do work with veterans. We do work with people who are precariously housed and at risk of homelessness. We work with low-income families and families under stress. We work with teenagers.
You know how to be successful.
Thomason presented a lengthy outline at Tuesday's Eggs and Issues event, detailing the resettlement process. Part of that outline was the security vetting process for refugees. Even though the FBI says there's issues, Thomason doesn't see it that way.
What would you say to the FBI director who just last week said in front of a congressional hearing, we don't have a lot of processes to screen Syrian refugees who are moving through Europe?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what would you say to that?
Well, I think the screening process that the United States has in place is probably the most thorough of any country in the world. I think if there is anyone that knows how to do that work in very difficult circumstances, it is the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI and all the related agencies.
A portion of Tuesday's program included this slide showing 50% of federal tax money received by LSS goes toward the organization's overhead for broad, unspecified categories, such as case management and program oversight. The list also includes more specific overhead items like personnel salaries for interpreters, as well as immigration and employment specialists. I asked Thomason about how many tax dollars go directly to refugees versus how much is spent by LSS on operating their nonprofit.
Case management, which basically means that's a person who gets to know that family, helps to connect them and introduce them to the different organizations and activities that they do here in the community. We have interpreter services that are provided. We have basic immigration services that are provided to those families. We have employment specialists who work not only to help the families increase their own employability and become employed as quickly as they can, but we work with the employers as well.
She didn't directly answer the question. Remember, the refugee resettlement program affects schools in the Fargo-Moorhead community as well. Also, you said on our survey that you feel Lutheran Social Services needs to be doing more to help refugees once they bring them in. In 2013, LSS gave just over $48,000 to Fargo Public Schools, who have an ELL budget of nearly $2 million.
When you talk about money going to the Fargo School District, those are dollars that come from the federal government through our organization, and we pass them on to community organizations doing the work. You know, when you ask the question of, you know, is it enough? I think all of us would make the argument that you know, it would be beneficial to have additional resources so we could do even more.
Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
To view our other reports from this week regarding Lutheran Social Services and their refugee resettlement program, just visit our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on the News tab. There is a section labeled Refugee Resettlement in the Valley, and it's there you can find more information.
A follow-up to a story that we brought you last night. Several car break-ins have happened in Fargo, similar to those in West Fargo. The thieves broke into 4 cars in Fargo and took 2 rifles and a shotgun. These recent thefts happened in the Deer Run neighborhood. That's only about 5 miles from the Eagle Creek neighborhood in West Fargo. Fargo police say that while it's hard to say if the cases are connected, there's similarities here. Officers do say that most of the vehicles broken into were unlocked, and that's why you should lock up and hide everything from plain sight, because it could make you a target.
You know, the little things, a potential suspect will open a door to grab cigarettes or lighters or whatever they can get their hands on.
Officers say they believe 2 men in their mid-20s went through the trucks. The men were driving a red Dodge Ram truck.
A high-risk Minnesota sex offender is in jail tonight after being on the run for a couple of days. 34-year-old Rico Renando Rodriguez cut off his GPS tracking device and left a halfway house in Minneapolis last week. Today, authorities arrested him after locating his car at an apartment building in Illinois.
Foul play is now suspected in the disappearance of a woman from Bemidji, Minnesota. Rose Downwind has been missing for more than 2 weeks. Now, police have named Marcello Cimarusi and Christopher Davis persons of interest in this case. Police want anyone who recently spotted their truck to contact them. The men were driving a pewter-colored 2001 GMC Yukon, Minnesota plate number 325 MPG. Police are also asking property owners and deer hunters to be on the lookout for anything unusual north of Bemidji, in the Bemidji State Park and Buena Vista State Forest. If you find anything or have any information, call Bemidji Police.
North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple is handing out bonuses in hopes of retaining staff members within his administration. But eyebrows are being raised surrounding the large amounts he's giving to some. The bonuses range from $1,000 to more than $30,000 per person. The group that represents North Dakota teachers as well as other public employees isn't happy. North Dakota United says teachers make less than the national average.
What does that say to the highway patrolman who got $200 bonus, or to the auditor who got a $50 bonus, or whatever? It rather devalues their work in public employment, and that's not fair, and it should be changed.
In an email, a spokesperson for the governor says the bonuses are meant to keep employees finding work in the private sector. Archuleta says that public employees' salaries need to be more competitive with the private sector, which would make these bonuses unnecessary. The deer opener is a yearly tradition, and it's only hours away for many North Dakotans and Minnesotans. This year, the fewest number of deer tags have been given out to North Dakota hunters since 1978. Some hunters have adjusted to not getting a deer tag, instead planning to go waterfowl or pheasant hunting.
As hunters and anglers, we're maybe our own worst enemy in that, well, I didn't get a deer tag, so there's nothing else to do, when in fact, really, the opportunities are almost quite endless.
And here's an invitation. Tomorrow on the Valley Today from 4:30 to 7 a.m., Valley News Team's Christy Larson has more about licensing, safety, and ideas for what to do with the game after you catch it.
A simple picture is helping foster kids find permanent homes. Tonight, dozens gathered to see 23 portraits unveiled. Each picture features kids in need of a family adopting them. This is the 8th year for the Hearts Gallery in North Dakota has been put on. Over the past years, 107 kids have been featured in the Heart Gallery. Well over half the kids have been adopted. The organization says it's another way to let people know about becoming a foster or adoptive parent.
I know how blessed I've been with my daughters and being on the receiving end of having a child come into my life and into my heart. And I would love for another family to be able to experience what I've experienced.
If you want more information on the organization and to help a child, we have a link on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
Never too early to start planning with your son or daughter about college. The same holds true even if they plan to go straight into the workforce. Parents and students crowded West Fargo High School tonight for college night. Now that's where they learned about options for students as they continue their journey into adulthood.
What we find is that students have many more opportunities than they even know about. And so the earlier we can expose them to those opportunities, the better choices they'll make, which is likely going to lead them to a successful experience.
If you happen to miss tonight's event, you can go to valleynewslive.com where you'll find this story posted. Now in it, there will be links to a few websites that can help you plan for your child's future.